What's going on YouTube? My name is Trig and I am back again today for more automotive content. Now, it's been like 2, maybe 3 years since I've been making videos. I don't really have a reason why I stopped making videos. I guess I just got busy and stopped making videos, but I feel like it's time to get back to that. Over the last 3 years, a lot of things in life have changed. I got married, that's a very big one. I changed careers like twice. For the last 2 years, I have worked as a Volkswagen technician at a Volkswagen dealership. So I am by no means a master. I don't know everything, but I do know quite a bit more than what I used to know. Now, when I first started making videos several years ago, I was just kind of getting into the world of the automotive industry and learning how to work on cars. And some of the things I did to my old GLI were kind of sketchy. I'll put a couple clips. HID bulbs on the Jetta. I don't know how to install them, but we'll figure it out. Drill holes in the headlight covers. All these wires zip tied together. Not the best tape job, but so they don't really blind people. Yeah, so this car is not that car. As you can see, the Mark 6 GLI is gone. I sold it about 1.5 years ago because I had an opportunity to buy this Mark 7 GLI. It is not stock. I'll go over the modifications in just a minute. Before I go over anything with the car that's behind me, let me talk about the differences between the Mark 6 GLI and the Mark 7 GLI. They're very different cars. A Mark 6 GLI was not the same thing as the GTI by any means. It had a completely different engine. Now, the engine code for this car is DFKA, which is identical to the engine code for a 2019 Mark 7.5 GTI, which means the engine is exactly the same. Finding parts for this thing is not difficult. Finding parts for my old car was very difficult. This car is not a Jetta trying to be a GTI. This is its own thing. It is as fast as a GTI with the same modifications. It handles very similar to a GTI with the same modifications, but it looks different. Just to start things off, let's do a quick walk around of the car and let me show you what I have done to it. So as you can see, it is quite a bit lower than stock. It is lowered on H&R Sport Springs, which is exactly how my other car was lowered. Now, the difference is these are the Sport Springs off of the Golf R, which gives it quite a bit lower of a stance, as you would say. My only gripe with that is the stock shocks are stiff as it is. This car does not come with DCC, also known as dynamic chassis control, so it does not have adjustable shocks, which I like. I like that I can put any shocks on it. I don't have to buy the really expensive shocks that retain the DCC system or buy the delete kit. It's like a 2-inch drop on stock shocks, so keep that in mind. It's not going to be the best ride quality. I'm going to have to put good coilovers. I'm going to have to put a real suspension setup on this at some point. They do not ride great. They are very stiff. It does handle well though. I haven't done much to the inside of the car. This is a GLI S, so it is not an Autobahn. It is just the base model GLI. The Autobahn, it has the digital instrument cluster, it has all of the nice stuff. Mine does not have that. What I do have that you may have already noticed are these paddle shifters. Now, I really like this because the stock paddle shifters, they're very small. It's hard to reach the paddle shifters if you're driving in manual mode and you're trying to shift mid-corner. It doesn't work great. So these are a little flashy, they're a little red, but they were 20 bucks on Amazon. You can get them in black, silver, red, whatever. I chose red. Let me pop the hood and go over a few other things. This is the engine bay of the Mark 7 GLI. It looks very similar to my old car. However, you will notice one thing. The turbo location is completely different. It's exactly like a Mark 7 GTI. It is right on top, same turbo, it's an IS-20. The previous car was tuned by Unitronic. I loved it, it was great. At about 100,000 miles, my clutch packs were starting to go, which was part of the reason why I bought this car. Now, the current setup on this car, I have a JB4 tucked in there. You may be able to see it, you may not. This is my AFR wire. It plugs into the sensors. It's basically just a piggyback tune. It fools the stock ECU. As you can see, it intercepts the stock harness for the MAP sensor, fuel rail pressure sensors, and there is a MAF sensor below. Now, don't get me wrong, an off-the-shelf tune is going to perform better. It's going to be much better, but you're changing the ECM programming on the car, and it is very easily detectable. This allows you to retain the warranty. I don't know if I should say that on video. Doesn't matter. I would like to retain my warranty. This car comes with a 72,000 mile warranty. It is a very good idea to not void your warranty right away. I also have a CTS Turbo catless downpipe, as you can see right here. I love it. It sounds great. It smells terrible because there are no cats, but we'll talk about that later. It's a little bit hard to see, but I also have the CTS Turbo inlet pipe. I have the stock airbox with a K&N high flow air filter and the Snow Guard delete. Currently I'm running MAP 2 with adjusted settings so I can run E30. So yes, I am running an ethanol blend on this car. If I would like to run full ethanol, which I do at some point, I would need to upgrade this high pressure fuel pump, which would be magnificent. Run full E85. Eventually, I would like to go with the integrated engineering tune. They have an ethanol sensor that you can wire into the ECM and it adjusts for flex fuel on the fly. So that would be very cool. The stock Hankook Kinergies on this car are absolute garbage. I am planning to put some Firehawks on this car probably next month. These tires are pretty much done. After a year and a half of ownership of this car and 22,000 miles almost, I love this car. It's great. There are things I don't like. There are gripes I have with the car. It makes a lot of interior squeaks and rattles. The engine makes a lot of noise, and not like bad noises. If you're familiar with Volkswagens at all, you'll know that that is not uncommon. A lot of these cars make quite a bit of noise. I know I'm gonna get a ton of comments on how dirty this engine bay is. As you can see, I live on a dirt road. The paved road's over there, but the dirt road's right here. I love Volkswagens, and you may say, you have something wrong with your brain, and you're probably right. I can do things to this car that I wouldn't necessarily do to a car that is my daily driver. My wife has a 2021 Tiguan SE, which is the car that we drive pretty much every single day. It's white to match this car, so that is basically the daily driver. That's the car we take any long distances. That's the car we take on road trips. But I will say, after spending 2 years working in a dealership setting at Volkswagen and working on these cars every day, I will say brand loyalty is very strong. A lot of the people who work there, a lot of the people who know a lot about these cars, love Volkswagens, drive Volkswagens, support the brand. Not everyone, but for the most part, everyone who works on Volkswagens, who knows Volkswagens, likes Volkswagens. And that's one of the beautiful things about Volkswagen, is the culture. All right, so for upcoming modifications, first and foremost, the next thing I need is an intercooler. So the stock intercooler, it's not great, you know, it could be better. A bigger intercooler means lower intake air temperature. Lower intake air temperature means more boost, essentially. The car will adjust on the fly for climate changes and temperature changes. If it sees lower intake air temperatures, it's gonna give you more of what you asked for, and that's what you want. Second, a high pressure fuel pump will allow me to run full E85 and not have to mix 2 or 3 gallons of E85 and the rest 91. That's how you get your E30 mixture. I would probably also need an intake fuel pump, but at least off the bat, you really only need the high pressure fuel pump to start. I would eventually like to go to like an IS38 or something bigger, but it is at a very good point for what it needs to be now, or what I want it to be now. It's a very fun car as it sits. As for the exhaust setup, I know I showed you guys the downpipe. It is a catless downpipe, so there are no cats in this car. I didn't say that. California Police Department, don't come get me for that shit, alright? There's a primary and a secondary cat. The downpipe deletes both of them. However, everything from that downpipe back is stock. This car is great as like a daily driver, kind of low-key. It's not like a full send build. It's not a crazy build. There's nothing crazy done to it, but it's at a good point for what it needs to be for a car that you drive on a daily basis. Too much talking, not enough driving. Let's go on a drive. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now while the car warms up behind me, let me go over drivetrain differences between the Mark 7 and the Mark 6. So my Mark 6 had a 6-speed DSG. This one has a 7-speed DSG with a limited slip differential. Now that limited slip differential is key to handling. An open dip is going to allow one wheel to spin and the other one to, get traction. The limited slip differential is going to do its best to match both of those wheels. For a front wheel drive car, it handles very well. Actually, this car tends to oversteer and not understeer, which is the opposite of what you expect from a front wheel drive car. One of my biggest gripes with the vehicle in general is NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness, and I have definitely done my part in fucking that shit up worse. I have an upgraded pendulum mount insert, the mount that goes into the subframe, which I thought wouldn't make a big difference, and it actually does make a big difference. It does help shift quality. It also means you feel every single shift and every single thing the engine and transmission do, and that's not always a great thing. If you're trying to make a car fun, you're going to make sacrifices, namely noise, vibration, harshness. That's just part of the game. Let's go for a drive. Trying to find a good spot to do a little pull where I won't get arrested. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts after a year of ownership and plenty of modifications done to my Mark 7 GLI. And of course, let me know in the comments what you guys think of today's video. The quality might not be as good as my old videos because I'm gonna be honest, this is the first time I have picked up a camera in 2 years. My editing might not be as crisp, my camera work may not be as great, but I miss making videos the way I used to, and I'd like to come back and do that again. Thank you guys for watching. If any of you are on the fence on whether or not you should buy a Mark 7 GTI or GLI, I say do it. I don't think you'll regret it. I think it is a fantastic car, whether you just want to daily drive it or you want a fun car or anything in between. Have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching, and just, keep vibing, I guess.